This Week in Golf Masters preview show. Let's go. Super excited, pumped. Masters is here. Been watching a lot of the pre-stuff the last few days, so we're going to get into all that. But let's start with the field. And I think what's making this year so exciting and what's going to be so awesome is these LIV players are there. LIV and PGA players. So you have literally the best players in the world. It is unfortunate that a lot of those players left and joined LIV, but at least the Masters is allowing them in, at least the ones who have qualified, and it should be pretty exciting. You know, you got all the big names there. So here's the deal, though. Like last week in LIV did an event, and Brooks Koepka won that event. So he is ready to go. He's firing on all cylinders. That should be exciting. He according to the Netflix show Full Swing, he's got a spot in the middle of his trophy case waiting for that Masters trophy. So he is definitely a player and a contender. I just listened to his flash press conference. He says he's healthy, he's ready to go. He's played in even when he was in the PGA Tour, he said he would only play in 5 to 6 events before the Masters, so he's done that. So no excuses. Patrick Reed's playing well. On the PGA side, you got Rahm, you got Rory, and Scotty Scheffler all playing well. And then all these other names that have been playing well the last few weeks as well, Homa. So this is going to be exciting. I'm super excited. I've been watching. Today I've been on YouTube, Do Yourself a Favor, and they just do like these flash interviews with players. And it is a little ridiculous. Like, every reporter has to ask, Phil or Brooks or John Rahm or Rory, Fred Couples. Is it tension out there with the LIV players? And they all have the same answer, which is we all live in Jupiter Island, Florida, and we play out golf together all the time. Seems to be. So they're all buddies. Some of them just peeled away and went to LIV. Such it is. Okay, so let's talk about the weather. The weather should be a little bit of a factor out there. So they are saying, let me just pull this up. Weather is, Wednesday. We don't care about Wednesday. Okay, so Thursday, a high of 84, light winds, light being 7 to 14 miles an hour. Friday, so then it starts getting cold though. Friday, although a high of 66 is not that cold. On Friday, 20 mile an hour winds. Saturday, it's in the 50s, probably low 50s, 54 with a 22 mile an hour wind. That could make things interesting. And then Sunday, a high of 64. It says a low of 48, but by the time these guys tee off, it's going to be an afternoon time, so it's going to be on the higher side. So probably 64 on Sunday with 20 mile an hour winds. So I don't know. We'll see how that affects the course as far as playability, whether it's wet or dry. You're going to hear about it all day long on the broadcast. The big difference on the course this year, which is another thing they keep asking all the players about, is this 13th hole. They Augusta National bought the property next door, or a portion of it, and they extended the tee box out on 13. So a lot of players that I listened to in the interviews, at least probably half of the 20 I listened to, were saying that it's probably now a layup shot for them. So no more going for it on 13. It also, I believe you need to shape the ball around the corner to get it around the tree so you would have enough a view or a shot at the hole. And the players that they were saying that were going for it were anywhere from a 4 to an 8 iron, an 8 being the lowest. So that'll make things interesting on the back nine. Amen corner. And that's the course. Okay, so one of the things I really love about what the Masters does, in addition to the tournament, is just the entire experience of the week that they make it. And an extension of this week has been the women's amateur. And I spoke about it last week. The women's amateur, they played 2 days at the Champions course, and then so that was Wednesday and Thursday. Friday, they let them play a practice round at Augusta, And then Saturday they had the tournament. And I mean, it's just exciting to watch. You know, if you aren't watching this, do yourself a favor and watch it. Get a little extra excited about the Masters. It's awesome seeing the women play the same course as the men. And that back nine at Augusta, of course, is awesome. So the what had happened is Rose Zhang came into it, and let's just go through her little resume right here. Okay, Rose Zhang, number 1 ranked amateur in the world, 2020 U.S. Women's Amateur Champion, 2021 U.S. Girls Junior Champion, 2022 NCAA Women's Individual Title holder. So she was the college champion, and then Stanford also won the team championship. And she was way ahead going into the Sunday round, like 5 strokes up going into Sunday. So basically all she had to do was hold on to win, and that proved to be a little difficult for her. She got off to a horrible start, basically a horrible front 7 holes, we'll call it, okay? So at the 7th hole, fortunately for her, they had a 2-hour rain delay. They blew the horn and sent everybody in and came back 2 hours later. And then from that point on, she got on a real steady par pace. Par 10, 11, 12, 13, she makes a birdie, and she's in the driver's seat. And the only challenger at the time was Jenny Bay. And Jenny Bay did make a good run of the entire thing. And Rose helped out a little bit on the 15th hole, which is a par 5 with a pond in front of the green. There's also a pond behind it. She decided to go for it in 2, makes a horrible swing, hits a little shot off the heel into the water, and eventually ends up making bogey on the hole. Actually made a very nice putt to make a bogey, a 10-footer. Could have been even worse. So at that point, she's 1 up, but then Jenny Bay hits it to like 6 inches away on 17 and birdies it. So they're tied. And then Rose pars 16, 17, and 18. So they end up tied and in a playoff. And they played the 18th hole, and then they played the 10th hole, and Rose won it on the 10th hole. Jenny got into a little bit of trouble, and that's all she wrote. So Rose Zhang is your 2023 Augusta National Women's Champion. And congratulations to her, and to come back after making kind of such a really bad mistake. That gets me back to this entire week experience, right? You have this women's tournament. Then on Sunday is the drive, chip, and putt competition for the kids. And that's pretty cool to watch. You know, just pop on the Golf Channel, watch it for a half hour or so, watch some of these kids hit drives, probably longer than most people that are watching some of those teenage boys. And pretty cool. And then we lead right into the Monday, Tuesday, the practice rounds. Wednesday's the par 3 contest. And then we're on to the tournament itself. So if you are going to the tournament in Augusta, let me give you a little Jeremy advice. The best place to sit, particularly if you are going on Thursday and Friday, is there is a grandstand on the 15th hole. And if you sit in the top 2 rows of that grandstand, kind of on I guess it would be the left-hand side of the grandstand, you'll be able to see everybody come down the 15th hole and go for it and make some birdies. Maybe you'll see an eagle or 2. But the best part about that grandstand is if you look off to the side, you can not even the side, you just turn around and you can see the 16th tee, and you can watch people hit onto the 16th green. So that's a prime viewing area. When you enter the Masters, you park your car, you walk in, you go through this giant gate. It looks like Disneyland. And it literally does. It's got all the flags on it and security. And once you walk through, you actually end up walking in, and you can go over towards the 13th and 14th hole or the 15th and 16th hole. So you end up walking in at the lowest part of the golf course. And there's concessions down there. There's bathrooms down there. And then so what we did when I went with my dad, I think in 2018, we walked in there, walked all the way up to the clubhouse, walked around the driving range, and then eventually sat on that grandstand and kind of watched everybody finish throughout the day. The concessions, I don't know if you've been seeing a lot of people on Instagram post photos of the concessions and the prices. and it's pretty cool. Like sandwiches are $3. Keep in mind, said $3 sandwiches are just square Wonder Bread sandwiches, but they are delicious. And the drinks are cheap. Everything's cheap. But my favorite is I forget the name of it. It's like the Georgia Peach Ice Cream Sandwich. And it's Georgia Peach ice cream with these 2 sugar cookies on the outside of it, on each side. And they're super soft. Highly recommend it. Don't skip out on the Georgia Peach ice cream sandwich. And then just 2 other things on this is the merchandise. When you go into a merchandise tent at Augusta, I mean, not a tent, okay? By the way, nothing is a tent. They're all permanent structures. So you go into these permanent structures that are the merchandise areas, and it's overwhelming. You walk to the back, say you want a hat. You walk to the back of the place. Again, it looks like Disneyland as far as the merchandise and the build out and the building itself. And you walk to the back and there's like 100 hats on the wall, and they all have numbers by them. And then at the counters, there's like I guess they're not even registers. There's just like everywhere you look, there's at least 2 people standing kind of by like an area where you walk up to. And you just say a number. You go, let me see 13, 26, and 71. And they bring the hats out and you try them on. And the shirts are the same way. T-shirts, collared shirts, quarter zip, full zip. The women's area is even bigger. And everything's numbered like that. And so you just get all this stuff. And then as you go up through the checkout, it's so ridiculous. It's just like everything has a Masters logo on it. You know, coasters, lighters, poker chips, whatever. It's pretty great. And then the final thing is the bathrooms. It's a lovely experience. Like I said, permanent structures. Again, you walk in. Like, that's the coolest thing. We're on the 15th hole watching the thing. There's a concession right behind it. So if you want to walk in and get the concessions, the lines are just like boom, boom, boom. Everything flows. They have that place dialed in. I mean, super dialed in. If there's a muddy area, they fill it in with cat litter, but the cat litter's green. It's flipping unbelievable. Bathrooms the same way. When you walk in, number 1, number 2, you go this way, you go that way. They clean the stall between every use. Go down there, go down there. It's great. So if you never miss any action because it's super quick coming in and out. Masters starts tomorrow, early morning. Best way to watch is probably at least tomorrow is on the broadcast on the Masters website. You can do Amen Corner. You can watch 15 and 16 featured groups or the regular broadcast. So let's see who wins. No predictions for me this week. It's too crazy. But if I were to say someone that could, or the type of person, first of all, there's a lot of good golfers that play Augusta particularly well, no matter what. Like, think of like Fred Couples or Bernard Longer. Those guys still know how to play the course. Tiger's going to be the same way. What I'm looking for in a champion this year is someone who has been there before, meaning someone who's been in like the top 5 or even maybe had a chance at it going into the back 9 on Sunday in a previous year and didn't make it. A Tony Finau, a John Rahm, guys like that. So there's a lot of people. Obviously Rory. So just excited to see what happens. Hoping this field comes through. Hoping that the back 9 on Sunday is just an incredible duel and performance. And we'll follow up next week. Hey, it's Jeremy Callahan, and thanks for listening to This Week in Golf. Make sure and hit subscribe so you can get all the latest news and analysis from Golf BPM.